Hi guys, Jeff Gamble, Indianapolis, Indiana. The reason I put this video together is John Lovelace and I have actually partnershiped together, and we wanted to share with you exactly what we're doing. So if you happen to run into the right person, you can refer them to us. And the subject matter that we want to talk to you about is credit repair. For those of you who don't know, there's a lot of people out in the world who need help with this particular subject. And when I shared this with John, he was like, yeah, man, I know a ton of people that I've had conversations with over the years that have gotten themselves into a situation where they need help with credit. And it just so happens my background, I needed a lot of help with credit simply because I've dealt with this so many times. When I was 19, I decided to come home on Christmas break and tell my mom, who's a school teacher, and my dad, who is a college professor, that I was going to quit school and start my own business. And from there, things kind of got more crazy. It did not go over well, but that spring I ended up getting sick and finding out I had cancer, and I went into the hospital. I spent about a year in the hospital, 2 surgeries, 6 months of chemotherapy, and I came out on the other side owing a bunch of money. My dad kind of joked with me. He's like, owing $200,000 when you're 22 would be cool if you were a doctor or an attorney, but you just have medical bills. What are you going to do? And the only thing that you could do when you were sick and basically hooked up to an IV like this all day is watch TV. So I watched a lot of TV, and I ended up watching a lot of shows on real estate, and that's what I ended up getting into. I went into real estate, basically investing, and I did pretty well. I actually made a ton of money right off the bat. I ended up flipping 18 houses in about a 36-month window. From there, I started my real estate company, grew that, started working with people who had credit issues, and just teaching them what I knew about it. And by helping people, I ended up getting a lot of business. And we ran hard and we ran big until 2007 and 8. For those of you who don't know, 2007 and 8 is when the mortgage business crashed. When the mortgage business crashed, so did the real estate business, so did the home building business, and that's where I was making about 90% of my money, maybe like 95. So I woke up one day and all the banks were closing and all of my deals were falling apart, and I went from, in 6-month period of time, having kind of everything. Our top month was like $40,000 in income, and all of a sudden 6 months later I'm down to like $4 in income. And I was 100% leveraged. I put all my money back into my business as much as I could, trying to build it, trying to grow, trying to get the next deal. So I found myself in a really bad situation. I found myself in debt. I found myself living on my friend's couch. I found myself losing my house, getting my car repossessed, the whole 9 yards. Eventually, I sat down with an attorney, and the attorney's like, look, we really don't have a payment plan for you because you're close to $3 million in debt. So if you've ever been in debt, that's pretty deep. And he's like, look, we got 3 choices for you. Number 1, you can fly somewhere, we can't find you. Number 2, you could win the lottery. Number 3, you're going to have to file bankruptcy and start all over again, and that's what I had to do. Unfortunately, I had to file a Chapter 7, wipe everything out, and start over again, which left me living on my friend's couch with a $600 pickup truck, really no career at that point because the real estate business was done, and I had a 450 credit score. So, obviously I couldn't rent anything, I couldn't buy anything. I was like, how do I get out of this? So I ended up sitting down and I read the Fair Credit Reporting Act. I read a book called Life After Bankruptcy. I read a book called Credit Repair for Dummies. And I got to work and I actually put a plan together, and I put my credit score back together from that 450 to just over 700 in 7 months, which isn't a perfect credit score, but it certainly isn't bad. And that basically launched me into helping people pretty much round the clock for the next few years. I ended up finding a company that I worked with for several years doing that. We did very well, and then in December of 2017, 2 friends of mine, Jeff Johnson and James Johnson, actually got on the phone with me, and they shared with me about a credit service that had launched a couple years back, and they said, look, we're looking for people in the Midwest. We're looking for people who have a background in one of these areas, either real estate, which I had, direct sales, which I had, or credit repair. So I kind of had all 3, and they're like, you're kind of the perfect person. Can you do us a favor and just hear us out? I said, sure. They said, well, this company is out of Farmington Hills, Michigan. It's a suburb of Detroit. 2 guys created the company, Mike and Paramel. And what they ended up putting together was a service that helped people not only get their credit back together, but a financial services company that, shows you a lot of different things. And they said credit is the main thing that they do, but they ended up partnershiping with a bunch of other things. So there's 12 services total. I'll just give you a quick rundown. Number one, credit repair. Number two, a positive credit builder to help you get some credit. Number three is credit attorneys to help with litigation and payment plans. So if they do pull something off credit, they can deal with that. Number four, smart credit, which is like Credit Karma on steroids. Number five is LifeLock, which most people have heard of, identity theft protection. Number six is Debt Zero. That's to get out of debt. Number seven is My Care Plan. It provides a will and a trust and kind of final rights, figuring all that out, who your kid's going to go to, who your stuff's going to go to. And then Financial Lockbox is number 8. Financial Lockbox is like a file in cyberspace that you can upload all your important documents to. It's encrypted, it's passcode protected, and you can have a beneficiary. So in case something happens to you, you're out of town, you're out of the country, you can press a button and get all your documents back like that, which is kind of cool. The rest of the plan is more about savings. They've got a travel portal to save money on travel, a shopping portal. They partnership with like Walmart and Target and Macy's to get cash back, and then they have a prescription card, discount card. In the fall, we're supposed to get a service called Teledoc, which is basically you can call into a doctor, tell them what's going on, and in 70% of the cases, they can write your prescription over the phone. So that whole package of stuff together is $89. Now, let's talk about credit repair because that's the main thing that we do. People ask, how does credit repair work? How do you do this? I said, well, the first thing that they did is they actually wrote a program. So when you enter into this program, you actually log in your back office after you sign up for the service, and it says, do you want to start the process? You click yes. It says, do you want to pull your credit? You click yes. Your credit report comes up with all of the numbers and bureaus, and what this program does is it specifically picks out all the stuff that it feels is negatively hurting your report and pulls it into another file and says, do you want to dispute this stuff? If you click yes, what our service does is then put together the letters and the packages of what needs to be sent out to the credit bureau pre-written. Everything's already done. So for those of you who are like, well, I can write a letter myself. Great, if there's one letter. I was in a situation where I had like 30, it was either 38 or 39 things wrong on my credit report, but they were on all three bureaus. So I would have had to write, I actually did have to do this. I wrote 39 letters or 38 letters for each one of the credit bureaus. And they had to have the right stuff on them, the right file numbers and all that crap. So what our company does with FES is they do it for you. You then get a packet in the mail. You have to provide the documents that they require, which is basically your license, driver's license, and maybe a copy of your social security card, so that way for each one of the packets, make sure all the addresses line up and everything. They have instructions. And then you mail those three out to the three credit bureaus. What happened to me is I mailed them out once I got them, approximately 40 to 45 days later, so I mailed them out the middle of December. The end of January, I got an email, and it says your credit score has actually increased 41 points. Now, the 41 points didn't impress me quite as much as the fact that I didn't physically have to talk to anybody. It was a service who did it for me. And I thought at that point, man, this is really good. I had another friend of mine whose wife is a real estate agent. She used the service. Her credit actually got better because she had gone through a divorce, but two of their clients' credit had gotten better, and one of them was in a position already to buy a house. So I was like, wow, this is creating not only good credit, but it's creating income for other people. This is a very sellable service. And that leads me to basically the three kinds of people we're looking for. Number one, we look for people who need their credit fixed, customers. So people who have been through divorces, people who have been through bankruptcies, people who have been through job loss, people who have been through an accident that takes them out of work. Identity theft sometimes happens to people. Those are the people that we specifically talk to, share with them what we do. They can sign up for the service. Now, a lot of people are like, well, how much is the service? Let's get, to that. Not only can you get your credit back on track, and anywhere between three months is usually like the beginning, and 6 months is like long. Only about 10% of people are after that. But the whole service, all of the 12 services are buffet style. You can use as much as you want. It's $89 a month. So if you can do it yourself, great. Can you do it yourself legally? Yes, you can do it yourself. You can fix your own, you can fix your own oil, but I take my car in because I'd rather have somebody else do that. It's messy, it takes a lot of time, I just rather not do it. Can you change the brakes on your car? Yeah, you can do it yourself. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but I just rather have a professional do it. So if you'd rather have the professional do it, I found that FES is really good at doing this. So it's $89 a month, and there's a one-time $99 setup fee. So for $188, you can have somebody else do all the work, or you can go in and do it yourself. I'm just kind of giving you the overview. So what are we looking for? We're looking for customers. So our company also hires reps. We're looking for people right now. So if you know anybody who specifically is looking for work, wanting to find work, doing something outside of their normal job. That's why, my friends told me about it. I thought, yeah, that makes sense. Each customer pays $100 plus $12 a month every time they make their payment, so you do get some residual out of that. The second type of person we're looking for, or second type of person we target, is companies, real estate companies, mortgage companies, anything in financial services, anybody who pulls credit, really, bankruptcy attorneys. We can share with them what we do for free. Those companies can sign up with us, refer us business, and again, you make $100 per client that comes through that system. Last, we're looking for recruiters and trainers, and if there's a whole nother compensation plan that's pretty lucrative, that's where the most money is. That's what I decided to do. So with that being said, if you need help specifically with your credit, which is probably why you came to this video with me and John, that's how we're helping people. You can get back with John. John can get you the information. In fact, we'll send you a link as well that kind of shows you, how all this works and where to go to actually sign up if that's what you decide to do. If you decide to watch this and just do some research on your own and do it yourself, you have any questions, we'll see what we can do to help you out. If it's more than one or two things, I just tell people, I charge $250 an hour to counsel people on this. So, if you want to pay me and do it yourself, fine. If you want to pay $188 to do it, through the service, that's fine too, whatever you want to do. But get back with John. He'll get you the info. We appreciate you for watching. And again, the reason we're telling you about this is we just want help. We're expanding the service and expanding the program. If you're interested more in the work side of it, John can get you in touch with me, and I'll get you the rest of the details. Thanks so much for watching.